acid this weekend though, Monte. It was a different experience from when I listened to it sober.
What changed in your life? That's what's up. Hey, hold on. I will get to the live.
Let's go.
Lord, what changed in your life to where your wife probably been acting like this, man? Like what life change happened, man?
What was the question, Joseph? I couldn't quite hear you. What life changed?
Yeah, what life change? What life change happened to where your Wi-Fi been cutting up like this?
Bro, nothing. That's the thing. And the messed up part is, as soon as we get done, my Wi-Fi is going to work completely fine the rest of the night. No problems at all. It's just the Wi-Fi guys there. They're like, nigga, we ain't trying to hear more of your hot takes done. So they shut me down while we're recording. And then as soon as we're done, everything's peachy dory. I don't know what it is. Bro, that is kind of messed up. I refute everything that I said about fucking Amy Schumer. That bitch is lame. now maybe my Wi-Fi will work.
That's so clear.
That was the first. That's crazy. It could just be some karma for some foul stuff I did not a long time ago, and now it's coming back. You know, karma be swinging back around sometimes. So yeah, who knows?
Kendrick Lamar spoke a lot about that.
Yeah. Hey, I had to repurpose my D&D notebook so I could. Like I said, they were different experiences, sober and inebriated this time around. Yeah.
Come on, Ak with the future numbers.
You said three. Three what?
350.
That's not first week. That's not bad. And those could be way bigger.
Me streaming, does that count as a buy? Me streaming it or like?
It's every so many. It's every like 100-something streams counts as an album sale. It's some weird metric like that.
Okay.
So it doesn't even go by. It doesn't even go by the actual album.
He tried to explain the algorithm. He's like, nope, can't get that out.
Goes by like certain song stream.
So I can do what? What happened?
Am I back?
Oh yeah, you back. I thought the Illuminati was trying to like keep you from.
I wasn't even gone because I could still hear everybody. It just like I said, we're tenuous at best.
About me, sir?
Maybe refuting Amy Schumer worked.
What were you saying about me, Grandpa?
Go.
Oh well, naturally, you're saying over on the Blur Cartel Facebook page, I was also a guest on there, and I gave some of my thoughts. We went through every song and our thoughts of it, and then gave some overall grades at the end. So it's a bit more extensive. So if you want to get like maybe more an extensive look into all of them, you're welcome to go look at that as well. But for mine, my overall thoughts is that this is not an album for the week. I guess I'll just start something like that. Like, but my overall thing that I will say, like, this is not an album that you just is gonna put in and just jam on the road. It's not anything like that. This is more of a personal album of him getting, quote unquote, his demons off his chest, getting his feelings, everything he's been struggling and dealing with from childhood up until now, probably all the thoughts and everything he's been meditating and focusing on for the better part of these 5 years, and plus some, all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of trauma, and it's a lot of different mentalities and thoughts and focuses in the album. It's not really like any of his past albums and anything of that nature. It's just an album. Like, these are my feelings. This is what I think about the world. This is what I think about these different topics, from the LGBTQ community, some things he included in that, to even abuse and like regrets that he had, and like not interfering with his mom and the things that she was going through even at the age of like 5. There's a lot of stuff in the album. So my overall thoughts is like, yeah, this is not just a regular album that you're gonna go in and you're gonna jam to. And the majority of the songs in the album also reflect that. They're not really just for, let's go ahead and just bump this down the road. This ain't really nothing like that. Like, I remember some of his other albums sometimes went over people's head. This one is almost like both. It's like it's gonna go over some people's head, and it's gonna be blatantly honest off of everything that he's saying. So it's like multiple layers in it. I remember now to my other point, to connect this to my point of what I would grade the album overall and things is, I remember in the past, I think our last video we were talking about Kendrick, like right before it came out with our top 5 and stuff like that. I remember Tori was asking me, what do I believe Kendrick Lamar's worst album is? The answer is The Morale and The Big Steppers. That is the reason why I say
I'm here for it.
The reason why I say that is because this is not an album for entertainment purposes. This really isn't that kind of album. This is not an album.
It's a damn good therapy album, though.
Yeah, like this is more of an artistic album. This is more of an album, like it's different sounds, different experiments he decided to put into this, things that he wanted to get off his chest, things he wanted to just open up to his people. And like, this is Kendrick. It's not Kendrick Lamar.
But the lyrical games he played through this, that's top tier, bruh.
Like
no, but you didn't need to.
Like, this is just Kendrick, basically. And it's like, this is who I am. This is what I struggle with. My demons, my addictions. Like, he even talked about his sexual addiction, or his sexual issues that he had, that was his personal thing that he had to deal with, instead of like drugs and alcohol, like most other people have had to deal with sometimes. That was his, and like even stepping out of his marriage and everything. So this is not that kind of album. So if I'm gonna put it based on
real album
value versus his other albums, this would be the worst. I mean, I remember even seeing some of just trying to look up some reviews, just seeing what people think about it, over the course of the last few days. I went to rateyourmusic.com, pretty simple, just something that give you a lot of different ratings instead of a lot of times.
I've seen Rate Your Music.
One person's rating.
I've seen Rate Your Music. It's a decent pool of opinions from varying people.
So I took that one, and out of currently like 11,500 ratings, currently it sits at a 3.6 out of 5, which is, you double that about, it's about like a 7 to an 8 out of 10, which is
above average.
Rated it. I personally rated it at 8 out of 10.
I gave it an 8. Oh wait, I'll wait. Yeah.
I was like, nigga, do you remember how TV worked?
But I personally did half a second. Like, there are songs stuff that I like on it. There are a few jams.
Stop smoking so much weed before we start broadcasting. It's bad.
I mean, it's a few, I would say, quote unquote duds maybe, or something that don't just really hit like that. But overall, the album is good. It's a deep album. It's something that you can listen to and that you can personally identify with in a lot of different ways. Like my 3 songs off of there are Father Time, Purple Hearts, and Auntie Diaries. Like,
okay, so at least I think we're all gonna have different favorite songs.
I identify with them 3. Like, well, I identify with 2. And Purple Hearts is probably like the one aesthetically, musically pleasing I love listening to. Like, Purple Hearts is just a new sound I really enjoy listening to. It's probably gonna be one of the radio songs you're gonna hear. One of the ones that'll be a music video with. I mean, Summer Walker's on there, so I'm expecting it to be on radio.
I figured that's why you liked it.
So, I mean, but she's not the reason why I like it. I more like it for keeping it on verse and just overall tone of it. Summer's verse on there was a little bit crazy, when she's talking about, it ain't real love unless you, So, to each their own, cool. We are cool with that, but I enjoyed it. But like I said, a lot of songs, even like my top 3, Father Time and Auntie Diaries, is not necessarily something I'm just gonna be like, okay, I feel like listening to Father Time and
them ain't car thumpers for sure.
Nah, that's something if I listen to them, I can listen to it and just reflect and focus for a while and then just leave them alone for the like. You cannot just be like, okay, on my way to work, let me go ahead and listen to this Auntie Diaries. Like, there's not those.
That's overstimulating.
It's gonna be. That's sort of like his his version of Eminem's song about his mom, kind of different context, but the feeling like someone's gonna look at you kind of different if you just listening to it in the whip.
And I like Uniqo's word that he used, overstimulating, because there's a lot of songs on this that can be overstimulating. Even We Cry Together, which I don't know if you call it a song, but it's 6 minutes.
That song's fire though.
Like it's 6 minutes of something you really don't need to just be blasting for abundance of reasons. So
the beat is stupid.
And there's a lot of songs on the album like that like, okay, you can listen to them, but they're not really something you just gonna blast or listen to repeatedly unless you really identify with them, may have some issues that might help you work out on your own. So because of that, it doesn't have the same entertainment value as a lot of his other albums, which is going to take away from that selling point. The artistic is there. Like if it was artistic value only, it'd be like 9 out of 10,
10 out of 10,
something like that. But the entertainment value is probably more like a 6, 7, something like that. So I just averaged it out. I gave it 8. That's my thoughts and my songs, and that's my grade.
Oh, me? I'm at the top. Cool. I mean, I gotta say, me and Monray, we are of like minds. I would say, in regards to this actual album, the album was very artistic. Like, so when we were having our listening party where we just talking about, hey, did you get to this yet, in our group chat? Like when we were doing that, I was like, I'm probably about to listen to this again. And then I found myself like casually going through songs like throughout like the rest of the weekend. I wasn't giving it that full attention. Like I was like, I know I ain't feeling this song right now. Like I had to like figure out. I was like, am I in the mood for this song? Like, cause it's like, cause again, we're talking about overstimulation. Like, it's one thing for it to have a good beat, but it wasn't like this super duper repetitive thing where you just find yourself singing along. Like, no, this dude is telling you what's going on from his diary. Like when I'm listening to this album, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to listen to Kendrick Lamar's diary again. You know what I'm saying? Like it did have its spots where, if you can relate to some of that stuff, you'll listen to it a few times. It make you feel maybe a different perspective or make you feel better. I personally, I was identifying a lot with Crown and Savior. I identified a lot with those two songs.
Baby King got off on Savior. That his verse on there was crazy.
You can't save everybody. You can't save everybody. That resonated with me, and I was like, damn, maybe I do be doing too much. And then at the same time, you got that. Then on Savior, it's like, I'm not your savior. I'm really not. Y'all keep on looking at me for advice.
Yeah.
Stop. I got some advice, but don't look to me for how to big step in your life. And then I really liked Father Time. That I identified with that song. So I was like, it hit me. It hit me in a couple different places. So overall, I do got to go with Monray. This is where I'm at. If I want to just sit and listen to something like a long road trip or something, like just riding around the country, gas is back down to $2.99, and I just feel like just filling it up and just going, I might can just sit and give it a whole listen, a full run down. But as far as just something that's just stimulating, I'm just going to listen to it and look for the jewels in there. I definitely would give it like a 9 for subject matter, a 9 or 10, just the straight
lyrical content is above par for sure.
But like just riding down the road, I don't even know what mood Kendrick puts you on in. Like maybe on your way to poetry class, or I don't know. Like I don't know what mood you gotta be in to be like, Kendrick about to put me in this mood. BG, get back in here. So
poetry class.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of a reason. Like when I listen to Walls Could Talk, I just liked how it sounded. It was a good groove. You don't get all that. Like one of these, he just on Crown, for instance, they just playing the same note. Doom, 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 doom. Then it gets sexy on you later on. But it just sounded good. But yeah, that so I would say just riding down the street, something like that, and just having some background noise. Maybe 7.5, 8 o'clock. seven and a half or 8. But as far as like the artistry that this album is, I would definitely give it a 10. It's a pretty damn good, or 9.5 or 10. No, there's no perfect project. And you'd have to go back to Kanye West albums for that. But for reference to what a 10 album is.
Late registration.
Late registration. that's a 10. But
I was gonna say that's a 10 out of 10. Perfect song, perfect album all the way through.
Those are my thoughts on the new Kendrick Big Stepper and morale and whatnot.
Bro, and it is on my list too. That is on my list. So since Zelma already called,
well, you looked at and got a video from it too. So
all I'm gonna say is I felt that this was the perfect last album for his last album on TDE. This was, if you're leaving the company and you want to leave them with something, this is like, I don't want to say it's his magnum opus, because unless he's done dropping music, he's gonna drop something way better at some point. I thought this album. Yeah, bro. It just I love how open he was on this album. How direct it was. How straight raw. This album did not care about your feelings remotely at all. It
worked.
It was pure information, right, coming straight directly at your core. Like I said, I listened to this album once on LSD. Was a whole different experience. Freaking, and I've listened to it twice. So I've listened to. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you, because I've listened to it twice sober now, and I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, not every song is gonna be like a car bumper, but Kendrick's song placement, just his arrangements, are so next level, and the way that what happened.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep, I can hear you. Oh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Hello,
Why
hello?
can't you hear you?
Yeah.
We hear you.
Okay, it's back. It's back. I don't know why it didn't work
Okay.
down.
Like, you don't hear him because it ain't his turn.
Shout out to
no,
Beta though. Shout out to Beta. Yeah, homie.
Kendrick's arrangement is just so next level. The way that each song led into the next song, and like he really told a story. Like, I feel like albums have gotten so all over the place nowadays, and I feel like this one, though it didn't have this uniform, I felt like the difference in sounds fit, and his sample choice was a lot of like deep random cuts. Like I still got to go through and look, because like I know I've heard certain parts of certain songs, I just don't know from where. And Kendrick freaking, he has that way of sort of putting them. I don't know how to explain it, but I enjoyed the way the album was arranged. But as for my 3 songs, of course, N95, that song was going. Also, Silent Hill with Kodak. I mean, Kendrick and Kodak together, that was just a super good dynamic that I didn't know I needed.
Man. It was so random.
I did not know I needed that at all. But bruh, when it just worked. Silent Hill might have been my favorite song, maybe, just because of the randomness of him and Kodak. I also wanted to touch on the line that he said in Savior, where he said, "Tupac's dead, think for yourself." I was like, dang. I was like, Kendrick giving shots to the old heads, like, listen, Tupac and Biggie can't be the Bible of hip hop no more. It's an ever evolving subject. It's time to progress, people. Come on, because music ain't changed.
You hear me, Beta? I just want to know. Make sure he told me to say something because he want to hear me. What you were saying to her back then?
No, the line from Savior was fire. The old heads got to see that music is progressing. Nothing's ever the same. It's always changing. And then I enjoyed the title song too. Mr. Morale was I don't think I've ever heard Tana Leone before, but he got off. He could spit. And I mean, I think this album was a pure embodiment of Kendrick's emotions throughout his whole life up into this point, and I'm super here for that. Especially, like I said, while I was on LSD, this album took me through so many different so many different emotions that it wasn't funny, but it was needed. At the end of it, I felt like I was like, damn. I was like, he went through something, and he just perfectly translated it into music. And then I went through and I listened to it 2 times sober, and I still had that feeling of like this was the. Of course, I didn't feel the emotions as great as I did then, but me personally, I think it's an amazing body of work. The songs, there's such a variety of subject matter and beat selection, but even with it being so random, if it makes any sense, it's random, but it's still well put together. And I think that's a feat all in its own. So I give it an 8.59 across the board. Just, yeah.
That intrigues me as to he sought out Kodak Black, and then secondly, Kodak Black kept this under wraps. Like there was no hints or nothing. So
because if there was anyone that would have blown it, you look at the features on there. The one person that probably would have. But I also love that Kodak he fit in though. Like he didn't get wild or out of pocket with his vocals or anything. He kept it. Everything was crisp and clean. I would have asked
did Kendrick write his parts for him?
No, I don't think that.
Kendrick would have wrote some kind of apology letter to the
Kodak. Because Kodak can get like that sometimes.
If Kodak didn't apologize, Kendrick didn't write it, dog.
I love that Kendrick showed out for the new up and comers from the West Coast, because I'm super big into new West Coast, like the underground rap, really from any region right now. I'm super into it, and hearing Blast on a Kendrick album, I know LA's going stupid dummy over that, because Blast is fucking a local guy that's been putting on and finally getting to that. He's finally getting that bigger stage, and to be on a Kendrick album, bruh, being an artist from LA, I know that's top tier for him. So shout out Blast.
CEO.
Yeah, so
hold on. Do I need to grab my notepad?
No, you ain't got. You might.
Yeah, I'm done with I had to repurpose my D&D notepad just so I could.
But if you cut this down to 12 songs,
it was a little long.
It is a perfect album if you take out 7 of them. That's for me personally. But I guarantee you, with me personally, you can flip 3 of the songs I say flip out, and somebody else can put 3 in. That's how unique it is.
Well, I will say that he's like, I know you're referring to like the placement of like the songs through the albums, like through his past albums. Like
I knew Monte when I saw Monte's face when I said that, I knew he was gonna have something to say.
The interludes could have been gone. I'm just gonna be on. For one, the interludes could have been gone. That's one. 2, Mirror, the last song on the album, I feel as though it should have been earlier, because Auntie Diaries.
Okay. Yeah, earlier in the set would have been
the best 3-song run on the entire album for me. So I really feel like Mirror could have been earlier. Like I really feel like you just could have put that earlier and just let them 3 songs be the run out, especially with the ending of Mother I Stand. I feel like that should have just ended the entire album.
Yeah. I feel like I like the way the album started though, like starting with Worldwide Steppers into Die Hard into Rich Spirit. I thought that was a good end. I thought that was a good way to go in.
As a matter of fact, after that, like really after We Cry Together and Purple Hearts, I know you like those songs. Them were the ones I'm more like.
No, Silent Hill is a banger, bruh.
So like, count me out.
Silent Hill is a banger. It's already in my playlist.
Count Me Out, Crown. I'm like, they all right. And then Silent Hill straight. And then we got the Savior interlude. I'm just like,
but this like, is what I'm talking about though. Is like you can put it 12 songs for each individual person. It's perfect.
See, I like the arrangement. I really did.
Like 10 to 14, that's my lull period. That's when I'm like, You know, I done had We Cry Together. I done had Purple Hearts Jam, and then I'm like, Count Me Out. Okay, Crown. Like okay, Silent Hill. Okay, hearing what him and Kodak got. Okay, cool. Then the interlude and then Savior. I'm like, okay, and then that 3 song at the end brought me all the way in there. So okay, I'm straight. But that was my love period. And then I'm like, the interludes, they're okay. But I'm like, I don't really need the interludes like that.
I can't believe you wasn't feeling N95, Monte.
N95 straight. Like it is a good song. Like it's not my top 3, but it's a good song. Now the thing about it, he did surprise me by that being one of the songs he chose for a video. That did surprise
I like that though.
That video
I was
amazing,
like,
by the way.
that's a bold choice.
Like, it surprised me with that one.
He said,
I really thought it'd be like I still
want a Silent Hill video though. I need it to be like the Silent Hill video.
Silent Hill and
I need it to be like Silent Hill video game with Kodak and Kendrick going through it. Like I need the axe head dude chasing Kodak through a cemetery.
Silent Hill gonna be more in a with Kendrick. It's gonna be in a funeral home and go to a cemetery.
Yeah, it'd be something wild. But man, like I said, I still think for being the final album on TDE, I can't wait to see what he does with PG Lang. Like,
well, if he got to hear his 10 things, now he can.
I say retire.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how much.
He said he got to
I know it's early to say.
He'll need to
but
retire.
I feel like his next album's gonna be.
I don't think he's gonna wait that long either. I think he got something in the tuck for next year.
So I think maybe
this don't need to be the album he retires.
But it's gonna be his first project off of his own record label. So I feel like it's gonna be outrageous.
But multiple times through this album, he did say, "I got to get this off my chest, and then I'm gonna take care of them sales and all that."
He's gonna go clean slate on boys, and they ain't ready. Kendrick with a clean slate is nasty.
Joe, did you know what he did the day the album release? He was on a plane to Africa.
I was about to say, nigga looked like he went fishing, or
he was on a plane to Africa, dog. That dude is not worried about sales. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna sell regardless. I'll put this out. I got, like he said, I got 10 steps. I got 10 steps, and then I'll finish off your top 5. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna finish off your top 5, which he already mentioned: Jermaine, Cole, Drake, and I don't know who else he put in that list now, because that list is different than it was then.
Yeah, it's different now.
Yeah.
So basically, he said, I got 10 steps to go. I don't know if this gonna be. Is this just one step, or is this all 10?
That's what I was wondering. Is this the first step, or have you?
Or are we done? And now you finna just throw out
with each album a step? Because then that's what 7 steps, 6 steps out the way.
Y'all said Kendrick got extended universe.
Yo, I'm just saying what he said on his album.
I know people get tired of hearing it, but after Kendrick put out that Control verse all the way back in 2013, he planted that seed of doubt in every regional music base. Like, do you have a nigga that's on Kendrick's level where you're from? Do you though?
He said he the king of New York, and him and Diddy try to fight him.
Bruh, poor Diddy.
And J. Cole had to fight Diddy. That's a wild story to say. If he did,
but I think that's why I think the whole Tupac's dead think for yourself line was so poignant, because he's like, I'm moving on. I don't know about the rest of these rappers, but I'm keeping it pushing.
Yeah. Beta said if he didn't beat Drake in album sales, but he beat him in keeping his life a secret. LOL.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey, don't beef with Pusha T and won't nobody find out nothing. Drake's life was a whole different thing before Pusha. Now Drake's out there in cornrows and plate mail looking wild.
Following Nikita Lyons.
I don't blame him. I followed Nikita Lyons too.
He did. They said it happened like last week. I'm like, Drake finally cut off. He's like, who did? Okay.
Hey, get in where you fit in, dog. Oh, but don't, man. He gonna ruin her wrestling career with a baby.
What?
You don't need a career anymore after Drake has.
Yeah, true that. If you get to Drake, baby, the need for a career is.
You want to do music too, but
drop dramatically.
But
I think we all. I was gonna say, I think we all just kind of, Yeah, back to your point on Drake.
Yeah.
I mean, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, on Drake.
Yeah, back to Mr. Morales and Big Stepper. I think everybody can individually put 12 songs and it'd be a 10 out of 10 album. But it's 7 of them that you either don't relate to, you're not vibing with, or it's like, or you're like, I can deal with that. But
I can agree with that.
I agree with Monte that Mirror should have been earlier in the song placement, though.
But then, like I said, it's 12 of them that you like, yo, I really rock with this. I really love this. I really like this is for me. That's why when Joe said I picked the ones I like, I get it. That's like I'm talking about the 12 that you like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the ones I like. This one I can relate to. This one I don't relate to. But
it's dope that he made an album that so many people can relate to the different songs differently. Because I feel like nobody's gonna. You might have one or two songs that alike with somebody that you feel are dope, but I feel like pretty much across that large of a pool, everyone's getting a pretty mixed of the songs that they feel are the best.
But again, this ain't for just personal enjoyment. This is a therapy album. This is an album to get things off his chest. This is before he take care of your top 5. He got.
I will talk to my therapist about this album.
Yeah. And that goes to my list. My number 1 is Mother I Sober because that's song deep. And
man, it's a deep song.
If you live in a black family, that's the
I had
one
to shed
song.
a tear on acid during Mother I Sober. I was like,
think it's necessarily got to be a black. But if it's a black family, I think everybody didn't experience. This is the one song I think everybody got somewhat of an experience with some way. Some cousin, some family member, somebody did something, somebody accused somebody, did somebody touch somebody, then a whole big thing happened. It didn't happen, it did happen. Trauma from some pain, somebody, your mother hurt and she got touched when she was younger, so she said, tell the truth, Kendrick. I know he touched you, and like, no, he didn't. And then you just stick with it, then something happened to your cousin, and then you got all that. The generational curse thing is amazing. That's
generational trauma at its finest.
And nobody ever talks about it. I know Monte Boy called him the prophet. it's hilarious.
He was joking.
I know. But
there are some other ones in that group that may do this. So
yeah, but Mother I Sober, it hits. Like, it is something that I think everybody can connect to. Savior. Tori called it before we even got on this thing. I feel like you like that one because it's telling you a parasocial behavior.
It hit the parasocial buttons real good. I was like, oh, yep. I was like, that's one of Zell May's. But he addressed it. Like I said, that line just stuck so, like, hopefully the music industry's listening. Kendrick just gave gold.
But basically it's telling you, J. Cole gave you this, but he is not your savior. Future gave you the money counter, but he is not your savior. Drake made you feel a type of way. He is not your savior. I made you think.
Drake,
I am not your savior. So and so did this. He is not your savior. And I'm like, oh, it's hidden. It's hidden because he's literally telling you.
It was slap.
Why are you put us on this pedestal? You put us up here, and then you expect us to be perfect. You expect us to save your life. And then he went on to talk about, I don't think a lot of people calling this, No Name, calling him and J. Cole out. He didn't do it the way J. Cole did it. He said,
the subject were crazy.
But he said, you asked me to save everybody, and I can't save myself right now. I'm going through something. He said, I told you in the album, basically, I cheated on my wife during this period. What am I going to tell you if I cheat on my wife? I cannot tell you to be a good person if I cheat on my wife. I'm going through this. I'm dealing with daddy issues. I'm still recovering from my cousin getting accused of touching me, and I'm just now trying to work it out with my mama. I can't save y'all while I'm trying to save me. And I'm like, that's what people don't get. And most of the people that try to save you are indeed like sociopathic people. People that feel like the world need them. People that feel like
the savior complex is a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, so if somebody's actually trying to just save everybody all the time, they either sociopathic or they got a savior complex and it's not really good. Yeah, Beta said my mother I sober gave me my mother. He got. I need to fix that. My stream element's going crazy right now. But he said everybody got therapy. I don't know why it does that though. He timed out for 5 minutes. I need to fix that. But he said, mother I sober gave me and my mother a whole therapy moment. It turns out we all had been saved by a family member. But I'm glad it gave y'all a sober moment, the realization of all the trauma. But it does bring that up because like I said, people, even if it didn't happen to you, you probably know somebody it happened to somewhere. Yep. Even if it's not necessarily your internal family, somebody. And you know the old black people rule: don't talk about it. We don't talk about that. We don't say nothing about that. We don't do that. That's your uncle. That's your cousin. That's your brother. That's your whatever. That's your auntie. Let's not pretend that's your. Let's not pretend like the women ain't doing it too now. You know what I'm saying? Just so.
Yeah, hey, that's the real.
So people ain't saying. Better I do apologize. I'm gonna fix that bot, but yeah, but you'll be back in a moment though. But yeah,
it was a good therapy album.
Yeah, so it did tell you that. So he is not your savior. Joe not your savior. Joe, like Joe said, I give you good advice. Monte, no matter all the common sense Monte got, you got to figure out something on yourself. All the advice Tori give you, something you got to figure out yourself. And that savior is that song. And Father Time. I had my father, but you see a lot of black dudes in your neighborhood that don't. You see a lot of them don't. And it's kind of a joke because, as you know, we cope with jokes and stuff like that. That nigga fatherless.
Shoot. You know nowadays you get joked on for having your dad.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, he fatherless, dog. Oh, that's
backwards.
That's fatherless behavior. You know, you ain't got you. Yeah, it is. It's because that's why they don't know how to. It's hard on them because if you got a single parent, whether father or mother, they gotta work like ridiculous amount of hours. With inflation, gas is $5. They gotta work a lot of times. You by yourself, you gonna have to learn on your own. As Kendrick said in this song, you gotta learn by the streets. You gotta learn on your own. Shout out to the ones that be all right without their father. Cause he even said that in the song. Shout out to y'all, brother. Cause I had my father. Yeah. I still went wrong in certain things, but you didn't have yours, and you still figured out.
Yeah, I had both my parents, and I was still a horrible child.
Yeah, so he was like, shout out to y'all that don't, because y'all don't even have it. And he was express how even his father didn't know how to handle some of the newer situations, which it is. Let's be honest. You got older parents. They came straight off sharecropping, Jim Crow, and then you just now got out in the 80s, and then they just give you drugs and a bunch of life in the 90s was kind of off, and then all of a sudden you just like, we free and we here. That's why I always tell people, I know a lot of people blame their parents for not being perfect in their life, but I'm like, yo, you gotta understand. Most of y'all parents,
they were really born.
Yeah, most of the people
born
in
our generation sounds like a cop out, but it's not.
Monte, most
of our parents were really born at a different time.
Yeah. Yeah, Monte, most of the people in our generation, how many times we heard first generational graduate from college? Well, we was going to school. A lot.
Yeah. That was a big theme in the 90s.
Yeah, when we were going to college, it was like, first time graduate. I'm like, this is my first cousin he the first person to graduate college in our family. He just 8 years older than me. What's going on?
It be that way.
You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people don't understand that, but it's literally like something, it's like, it's a new world. They didn't know how to, the internet is new to them. They didn't know how to, they didn't know scams, all the regular stuff that people go through. They didn't understand it. So even if your father knew, it's stuff he didn't know about the street, cause that's new to him too. Kendrick said in the song, like, he don't know how to handle that. Like, what you tell me about the street? Like, I never grew up in the street. The gang culture.
Everyone has had to struggle through showing their pops how to use a smartphone. It is crazy.
Oh. Bible Black CD was sitting right there in front of my grandparents. They could go look at that book whatever they wanted.
I was gonna say the CD. Both my parents were born in 1959, so
I didn't even have to hide that one. It just said Bible Black.
you knew what the trick. You had the trigger title sitting.
Do not
featuring.
Do not look at what that is.
Featuring
I got caught with the dirty pair back in the day. I can't even stunt.
Beta is like 17. Do not look that up. Joe's a horrible.
I was in like 7th grade. I was like, whoa.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
Bible Black, yes.
Bible Black. Hey. Everybody had a word.
But it was just right. My grandparents didn't know, because we didn't even really get the internet figured all the way out until then. We got the AOL chat rooms and all that stuff. But man, that's the one thing. Now, Blacktail Magazine, I had to hide that.
By the way, shout out to the 10 people here right now. Shout out to y'all. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, appreciate y'all, man.
I feel more for Uniqo at that time. I'm sorry.
I had bottle black chilling out from my grandparents. I mean, thankfully they didn't push the issue.
Put in that 30-day free trial, CD. Leave
Exactly. Let's go ahead and watch this. I'm always good. I'm always here for a good Bible study. See how that turns out.
Why there?
Hey, shout out to Joe for scumbag activities in the 7th grade. Let's go.
No parents ever have to watch with their child that show. I pray they don't, because they do. Going to get prayed over. I promise you, you are. You're going to get prayed over. They're gonna try to exercise you.
Bruh, my parents caught me watching Ninja Scroll, yo.
It ain't to be.
No. Bro, you know how awkward it is when there's a random animated essay happening on a screen by a giant rock man and a woman with poisonous genitals? Do you know what happens when your parents? Do you know the kind of questions that come after that?
No.
Back to Mr. Morales.
Yeah.
No.
Artistically, 10 out of 10. Very artistic. That's to my point with Monte. The most artistic. That's
such an abstract metric, though.
The most artistic person there is. Me as a poet, I love it. As a entertainment value, 6 out of 10. But I'm a poet though, so I'm gonna go back to probably more than most people. But so that equals out to what? You give it out artistic. Hey, that's an 8 out of 10. That's an 8. So I think most of us.
Okay, everyone pretty much came to that consensus.
Yeah. And we like different songs. Some of the songs y'all like, somebody else didn't like, then somebody else.
Silent Hill's so fire, yo. I can't get over it. The randomness of Kendrick and Kodak is just.
And before we get off, we all gave our ratings. So I think we're gonna give it like an 8.2 out of 10.
8 consensus.
I know Tori gave it like an 8.5. So I gave it a 9. I gave it
8.5 to a 9, somewhere in 8.5.
We do 8.2. So
10 out of 10. Probably not listening to it again.
I mean, it's along the same. It's along the same.
There's definitely some songs that are going into rotation for me.
Yeah, so it's a really good album. I'm a poet, so I will be going back to it because I like to write the poetic type things. So. And it'll be useful for me when I'm writing the scripts and stuff that we about to get on. There's super thanks now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It did come with controversy, so we're gonna go over the controversies. One is Kodak Black. People didn't like that Kodak Black was on the album.
I was here for Kodak on the album.
They like all this deep content about handling the assault word. Handling it. All that talk about it, and you brought a guy on there that pleaded guilty to it. What do y'all think?
My name Kodak Black, but when you see me, I'm white.
So, how do y'all think? Is people overreacting? Are they?
Man, it's free to put whoever he wants on his album.
I would say let Kendrick put whoever he wants on his album. He ain't bothering nobody else. And the song is fire.
Man, that is a hill you gonna die on, boy. Hey,
and the other one, Joe brought up
the other one.
Joe can bring in the other one.
I did.
But he did say the F word. So
he got a couple of them off. It felt like 1997. It wasn't no couple,
though. He said it about 40 times in this song. But
hey,
I've not heard it in a song in a long time.
I'm saying,
like I said,
I've not heard it in
it was a vibe.
I ain't heard it since Dave Chappelle said it a few years ago at all. Again, my rule is I can't tell people what to be offended by. I'm not them. I didn't live their life. Nope. I try not to tell people what to feel, how to feel, because you ain't telling me how to feel. So and I'm not you, so I can't tell you how to feel. You have every right to feel however you feel. The same thing he said, if I let the white girl say nigga, it's the same thing. I feel the way I feel. You can't tell me different. How I'm gonna tell you to feel that way? You have every right to feel that way. I am not gonna try to. I don't say the word, so I'm not finna just yell at you for saying, why you defend him saying it? But it's his art. He also allowed to tell his story the way he wants to.
Freedom of speech, yo.
I don't know if he done talked.
Freedom of speech and acknowledging consequences.
It's different thing. I don't know who he talked to. I don't know did he go through the steps and talk to people and say, hey, I'm putting this out, doing this. I know this will make it have a big impact.
You
Is it cool?
Check in with the LGBTQ before you drop a song where you say.
I don't know.
Where you
Like
drop the
Kendrick,
F word
a thinker
whole bunch.
type dude who do that, and this album seemed like this. So I don't know if
Yeah,
he did
I
it. You know
mean-
what I'm saying? Like Dave Chappelle 100% didn't do it when he said it, but
I was gonna say Dave Chappelle don't care.
yeah,
He's
you know
a
what I'm saying. I don't
comedian.
know if Kendrick was one to do that. I don't understand. I don't know. Like I'm saying, I don't know what is good, but that is very controversial. But like I said, it's his art. I don't know what he checked it. I can't tell people how to do and react and what to do. So I try to stay away from that as much as possible
People
because
gonna be
it's
mad
very
regardless.
complicated when you try to put your idealisms on somebody else. So it gets very complicated because we're all human and we all think different. We all grew up different. And we all had these different things. But at the same time, the song was so powerful in terms of support
Yeah.
that it kind of made it weird for a lot of different people. So, but hearing that word might trigger some trauma from somebody. And like I said, I didn't live their life. Like, I don't know what you was called when you was 5 and you wanted to be yourself. And then somebody said, no, I did. I have no clue what happened with that. So who am I to tell you how to feel about it? You can feel, like I said, some people up north allow people to say that do not say that in front of me. Nope. I do not. If you're a white, do not say that in front of me. I grew up in the deep south where they will use it on you and say it in a very disrespectful way. And I don't trust nobody to say it because of my environment I've been in my whole life. So who am I to tell you about how you say something? Any thoughts on that before we?
To each their own.
Yep.
I leave it at that.
Let people say what. Listen, you have the right to say whatever you want, but you don't have the right to dictate how people react to
Well,
what
how
you
about
say.
this? Then you have the right to say whatever you want. You also have to deal with the consequences of whatever.
That's what I just said.
Hey, that sounds nice.
That's literally what I just
It
said.
sounded nicer.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Overall 99 Reviews. I am your boy, Monray Hudson. You can catch me on Instagram and TikTok under Monray Hudson. You can click on the link tree. Your boy is there talking about everything and let you know all of the different podcasts, Blurred Cartel, Overall 99 Media, and of course, Broke Ugly Dudes. Buy the merch. Uniqo, what you got?
UniqoWilliams.com. Y'all know that motherfucking deal, man. We out here listening to artistic songs and stuff. What's coming out next? Who knows? But we'll just keep our ears open.
I don't think nobody even care in 2020 no more. Like, who's coming out?
I do. I care about Chris Brown. Forget you.
Oh, when Chris Brown come out?
It's not sure yet. It's supposed to be this year sometime.
Oh, see, look, then.
Man,
He didn't announce it. He didn't announce a date.
So it might not even come.
that tour
I mean,
gonna be,
it's
that tour gonna be
May,
crazy.
so I can be hopeful for another 7 months.
But he better hope
Other than Kendrick, he don't keep people in suspense that long.
he better
Yeah.
hope that he can
Takes
come
a
with,
special kind of guy to pull that off.
it's never the right time to say goodbye. He ain't did nothing since that first album, nigga. He ain't did nothing since that first
Oh,
album.
we're
nigga.
gonna
Right.
find you, Tor.
You already know Afro
Okay.
Common 765 on everything, all the darkest parts of the internet. I'll be there.
Stay away from the dark. Beta, shout out to you. I'm sorry you got. I gotta fix that, by the way, with this Stream Elements decided to go crazy and just ban everybody. So I do apologize for that. Yeah, Stream Elements to ban like 3 people. Every time me and Tori do a podcast and wrestling, they just time us out somebody randomly. But saying nothing, so I gotta try to work on it.
Wrestling gets some long talk.
Yeah, so again, amazing album still. I enjoyed it. First listen was good. It got better after that, especially the songs I liked. The songs I didn't like, I still
Yeah,
didn't like.
it
But
definitely
it wasn't for
grew.
me. Again, if you are very artistic, if you like words, if you listen to lyrics, this album is for you. If you're just looking for bangers, N95, Silent Hill, you got about 4 of them. That might be up your alley. Other than that,
Yeah,
Just Purple Heart.
Mr. Morale.
yeah, Purple Hearts is like 4 or 5 of them, and then the rest of it is definitely not bangers. It's just something you gotta listen to intently with your eye like this, staring. Like
And who was the girl that was on We Cry Together? I had never heard of her before.
she was on
but
that.
she can sing.
She was
Her name was Taylor something.
Taylor
Her name
Payne.
was
She
Taylor
was on that.
something.
She was a
She can
cheerleader.
sing.
She was a cheerleader on that TV show.
Oh, okay.
What's that TV
I
show
had
you
never
used to
heard
like?
her before.
Oh, okay, like he knows the specific cheerleader.
No. I'm saying I didn't know who the voice was.
I'm still trying to figure out who is this specific cheerleader.
Oh, I don't even know what show he's talking about. I was just talking. I didn't know who because I had heard of most of everybody else on the album.
Hit the floor.
Her
She's Aisha. Hit the floor.
Her and Tana Leone. I'm gonna go listen to
She
some
was
of
also on
music, 'cause
Ballers. I don't know if y'all remember her from Ballers.
Yeah, bars.
Definitely didn't watch that show.
High School Musical 3. She was on that too. I don't know if y'all seen High School
Was she
Musical 3.
the Hispanic one?
Oh, she black. But
Damn, I guess Kendrick was digging deep for talent on this one. Like, man, I got somebody I ain't never heard of before.
I just love it. I love that he put on all these underground artists from the West Coast, like on this album. It's dope. I like that we're getting back to the regional unity in places.
yeah.
And I like the fact that basketball ain't on tonight. So that means we get to rest.
Also, I'm curious. It's weird he didn't have
I
nobody from
started,
TDE on
I
there.
started a new game plus in Elden Ring. There's no rest for the week.
Your question.
I'm pretty weak.
TDE. He didn't have nobody from TDE on there, did he?
No one.
That's interesting.
No. Is Baby King TDE or is he PG Lane?
PG Lane.
PG Lane.
Okay.
And the
no,
other
there's
girl that's
nobody-
on there with
there's
him and
nobody.
PG Lane too.
No Schoolboy, no J-Rock, no Absol. We're never getting the Black Hippie album.
SZA.
people. I'm so sorry.
No SZA.
No SZA. But I want the Black Hippie album so bad. That's going to be the one stain on Kendrick on TDE that we never got Black Hippie.
He did have. Did he have that? He had that girl on there from TDE, right? I mean, from PG Lane. He had a girl from PG Lane on there. The girl,
Amanda Reefer.
yeah, that girl he signed, yeah.
She was on Die Hard with Blast.
Yeah, so he did put all his new people on there, but he had nobody from TDE. That's very interesting.
Hey, I'm still so geeked that Blast was on a Kendrick album, yo. That's wild.
If y'all know nothing from today's episode, he fuck with Blast, and Silent Hill's a banger. Y'all know nothing
Let's
else.
go.
Rename this to Blast and Silent Hill, please.
Go listen to Blast, people.
Instrumental.
I'm everywhere below. Super thanks, super chats. I appreciate you. Thank you again, Beta, for coming through. Rocky. Shout out to the 10 people that were watching earlier. They ain't there now, but shout out to y'all. Good time. I enjoyed this album. This was a good album. It's fun. It's fun actually getting to listen to albums again because most of them I don't care about. so peace.
Bible Black offended the fan base.
Yeah,